Hey, I'm going to be talking about preschool and kindergarten. And I'm starting with my sunshine, putting on some headphones and some little notes here, getting my sunshine ready. Kindergarten, preschool, kindergarten, preschool. Kindergarten and preschool, preschool and kindergarten. If you have littles, I'm going to start by saying just slow down because you're going to blink and they're going to be bigger, taller, and sassier than you ever thought that possible. But I want to talk about preschool and kindergarten because this is where you're going to set your foundation for homeschool up in a way that will set you on that trajectory for success when your kids are 12 and 14 and pumping full of hormones and adrenaline and learning how to be captains and captainesses of their own destiny. And the way that you start your journey with your kids will set you up for success as the kids get older and older. None of us dream about having a preschool or kindergartner that grows into being a snarky, impossible teenager. But I can tell you that the way that you start right here can set you up for success so that when you are trying to figure out quadratic equations and how to write and how to drive a car, that you're enjoying the process all the way through. So preschool and kindergarten, it all starts, in my opinion, with listening skills. It's why I put the headphones on my little sunshine here. The focus for preschool and kindergarten should be delighting in learning, right? They're so excited. They're so bouncy. They're so helpful. They're so energetic. But we need to be focusing on their listening skills and building up their ability to handle 1-step, 2-step, 5-step instructions over time. And so we take advantage of this time in preschool and kindergarten, not just to keep them busy, but to train their brains and their muscle memory so that they're excellent listeners. So that's the very first thing that, as a gray-haired 25 plus year homeschooling mom of 5 sons, I can tell you that what you set your kids up for learning about listening in the beginning truly makes a difference at the other end of the journey. So listening, you want to be practicing your listening skills with your kids. And it can be as simple as playing a color game where you say, okay, we're going to play the color game. This is red. When I say go, run and get something red and bring it back. Just listening. So playing listening games. So that's what I'm going to put right here. Listen. Super important. And you train this as a game. Next, you want to do lots of hands-on. And I mean lots of hands-on stuff. Kids need to get dirty. They need to squish. They need to mold. They need to manipulate. They need to concentrate. Hey, Hester. They need to concentrate. They need to learn. And you want their hands to be engaged, not just sitting watching a show or a demonstration about something, but sticking their hands in the batter, putting a glove on and then putting Crisco lard in a glove around it so that your hand is now insulated like a walrus or a whale, and then sticking it in ice water and having them say it's not cold, and then having them take their hand out of the glove and putting it back in the ice water, and realizing, just discovering, right? Everything that you can do hands on, where they're touching different textures and different temperatures and different consistencies of things, powder and flour and rice and beans and sandpaper and grass and rocks and sticks and all the like, lots and lots and lots of hands-on. When they're preschool and kindergarten, all those tactile things help desensitize them if they have sensitivities to different textures and things, but also it creates neural pathways for their brains to be able to be learning. So don't be such in a rush to be handing them pencils and calculators and notebooks, but instead fill their life with things that they can touch and feel, things that they can taste, things that they're listening to. It should be sensory, not overload, but sensory input all through the day, with some of the sensory being silence. The kids should be able to sit in silence and be okay. One of the things that I did with my preschoolers and kindergarteners is that we trained in, starting slow, we trained in a pocket of time twice a day where the kids would have room time or independent play. And we had plastic bins of something, so either balls or trains or action figures, and then another bin of things like board books or such. And the kids would sit in their room or in the living room or on a blanket outside, trained in starting at 5 minutes, worked them up to 45 minutes where they could sit quietly and play. And what it did was, at this preschool kindergartner level, taught them how to concentrate, taught them how to just be okay by being with themselves. And they begged for room time. They loved it. It wasn't a punishment. It was a natural part of the flow of our day. And so when you're dealing with your preschoolers and your kindergartners, you are building up their listening skills. You are making sure they have lots of hands-on experience. You're also giving them the skill of being able to spend time alone, not alone as in go away, I don't want anything to do with you, but alone as in here's a gift of quiet time, and I'm going to help you learn how to use that quiet time to rest, restore, or think. And that, I believe, is the key to helping kids later to be able to problem solve on their own, to think through things, is to give them with the gift of the ability to think. And quiet time helps with that. So preschool and kindergartner, let's see where we are. So we've got listening skills, hands-on. This right here is one of my favorite parenting skills and things, and that's the do-over game. And we use the do-over, as I've used it as recently as yesterday, when one of my teenage sons walked in holding a device saying, "Can I please use the device?" And I said, "Do-over." And he backed up and he set the device down and he said, "Excuse me, Mom." I said, "Yes." He goes, "I was wondering if I could use your iPad to practice my drawing skills." I said, "Yes, of course you can." So do-over it's a training skill, a training game, a training tactic where you help your child recognize what you just did wasn't quite right. So rewind a little bit and then do it again. And now let's do it properly. And so when they're preschool and kindergartner, you use the do-over game to train them how they answer the phone, how they wake up in the morning, what they do after breakfast. And you create games around this do-over so that they get in the mode of being teachable. This is super important. We want to train up our kids to be teachable and to receive instruction. It's super important that our kids can not only listen to what we're saying, or a teacher or an elder or a boss or whatever. They need to hear, but then they need to have a teachable heart and to be able to receive instruction. And so in order to do that, we need to kind of sometimes get over bad attitudes or selfish intentions or just childishness. So anyway, Preschool, kindergartner, listening, hands-on, giving them the opportunity to have time where they can think to themselves, 5 minutes to 45 minutes a day where they're able to spend time on their own. This do-over thing is super important. We also want them to learn, I'm looking at my board, to be helpers. When I was little, my mom is an amazing mom. She was an amazing housewife, and she was very good at keeping house. But she didn't always receive us kids as being helpers. And you know that your preschoolers and kindergartners want to help. They want to help make dinner. They want to help empty the dishwasher. They want to help feed the dog. They want to help carry the heavy bags in from the car. Preschool and kindergartner, we are training our kids to be helpers. This is a good thing, not servants, not slaves, helpers. We want them to have giving, serving hearts. And this translates as a homeschooler when I have 4 kids still at home, all of them taller than me. And do you have any idea how much laundry and dishes and crud gets generated by that many adult-sized people in the house? But they're all trained to be helpers. So they cook, they clean, they do laundry, they help keep the bathrooms clean and tidy. We have trained them up to be part of the team that keeps our house running efficiently. And you want to be able to have your teenagers or your adults to be able to see a need and fill a need. So you start right here in preschool and kindergarten, where you give them things that they can do. Mommy, I can help. Okay. It should not be the knee-jerk response for us to say, oh no, you go play. Mommy will do this. Don't do that. It's going to take 5 times as long for little Susie or Stephen or Sam or whoever you have in your house. It's going to take longer if they help you, and it may cause some drama, and that's okay. You train them to help. You pull the chair up to the sink and you let them wash the plastic cups, whatever it is. Preschool and kindergarten is all about setting up the foundation for learning, the attitude for learning, how to deal with situations when there's a not so great attitude or something that, wow, I really think that we need to do that again. So you do that over. This is training ground. Don't be in a rush for pencils and paper and books and assignments and to-do sheets and curriculum. Slow down and make sure your foundation is solid, because this is the foundation that everything else is going to be built upon. Essay writing, researching, resume writing, quadratic equations, ancient civilization, and all scientific method, Bible memorization, all that stuff rests upon the solid foundation of a teachable and kind and compassionate and attentive heart. So you got to start there. Preschool and kindergarten is all about this kind of stuff. The next thing is, we're going to make a burrito. Learning burritos. Anytime that you can find an opportunity to take something and wrap learning around it, I call that a learning burrito. So, and I can't think of anything off the top. Let's talk doodling for a second. I'm teaching one of my kids doodling. This is a new passion of mine. I've always drawn and doodled. I have always drawn and doodled. But suddenly it's part of everything that I'm doing. It's part of my quiet time. It's part of teaching for you guys. It's part of teaching for my own children. And I'm teaching one of my sons specifically how to doodle and how that helps him retain information 26% or more when you are doodling. What? And I'm giving him the skills of doodling, of this is how you draw a bean person. This is how you draw a sunshine. This is how you draw. So a little bit every day. And the learning burrito is that while we're just drawing these little drawings, we're also talking about study skills and life lessons and all these things. So it's not just, the lesson isn't, this is how you draw a star. The lesson is, I'm going to show you how to draw a star so that when you're listening and you're taking notes in a class and you are doodling a star, you are attentively listening to the professor while you are moving your hand, which increases your ability to retain information as much as 26%. That, mama, is a learning burrito when you combine things, not just the surface level, but you are pulling in other parts to life. So in kindergarten and preschool, as they're helping you in the kitchen, you are forward speaking, blessing over their future. Wow, I cannot believe how much easier this is when you help me. What a great teammate you are, and what an added blessing you are to our family. Do you know that we would not be as awesome of a family if we didn't work together? Thank you. You're going to make an amazing, and then fill in the blank, wife, mother, partner, friend in the future. So you wrap learning burritos. Now, inside the link, because I know that we get itchy to do academic things with our kids too, but you can do it naturally as you are emptying. As you're emptying the dishwasher, you can be learning colors. As you are doing hands-on, you can be talking vocabulary words for whatever you're doing. If you're making rice, you can be talking about texture, color. You can be talking about taste. So all these things overlap. You can count. You can identify things. You can read books about. You just get to enjoy time with your kids. But inside the link, I linked you to one of my blog posts. I can't remember what I called it. It's something about preschool. But inside there are two people in there that if you have preschool and kindergartners, you need to follow the links and you need to find them. The first one is Amy. And you want to know Amy for preschool and kindergarten because she's the founder of Planning Playtime. She is a preschool teacher that has kitted amazing hands-on learning activities for your preschoolers and kindergartners. Now, do not flood your preschoolers and kindergartners with work to do. These are fun things to help you as you are making your learning burritos and giving them things to do for quiet time. Or I always had a table quiet time right after breakfast in the morning where we would color and we would do things. But I wouldn't do more, 30 minutes a day tops with a preschooler of paperwork unless they're begging for it. But Amy has Planning Playtime, and she has an amazing collection of, this is how you can use magnetic letters or clothespins or pipe cleaners and bubbles. And she also has correlating things that you can do with them on paper. So I love everything that Amy does. The other gal is Jamie. So Amy is Planning Playtime. Jamie is Hands-On as We Grow. And I love Jamie because she's a fellowess mom of boys. I think she has 4 sons. But Jamie is the one that does like the activity room, and she does hands-on activities. And her thing is all about no paper. So she's really big on taking things like toilet paper rolls and creating games and activities for your kids. Things that you have around your house or alternative things that you can then turn into activities. And it's everything from quiet time activities that buy you 5 or 20 minutes of time for you to get the kitchen ready so that your little helpers can come help you. Or it might be learning activities that you can do, or gross motor or fine motor activities. So follow the link and make sure that you check out those gals because their stuff is amazing. And so for preschool and kindergarten, This is how you bundle it all together. You live your life, you create a routine for your kids. Kids need that predictable routine that happens every day. They get up at a certain time-ish, and they have breakfast. They do this right after breakfast. They have this kind of quiet time. You do a little walk or activity. You prep for or lunch, and then you have quiet time after lunch, and then activity or whatever your routine is. But you establish your routine so that there's a predictable flow in the day. And then the kids are going to be practicing listening, doing hands-on stuff with you as they're helping around the house, as they're exploring. They're doing over any attitudes or issues that you're having. You do this as a game where you sit for 3 minutes in a day and you practice having a bad attitude. We're going to play the do-over game, and today we're going to practice not telling the truth. Or today we're going to practice interrupting a conversation. Today we're going to practice having an eye-rolling response when your little sister asks you a question or whatever. You do over for 2 or 5 minutes a day, and then you then can exercise that skill at any time. So all the way up through, I play this with all of my kids still today. And I even have a 22-year-old in the house, and sometimes we play too. So preschool, kindergarten, it's really like just living your life and bringing your kids along for the run, right? They come with, you see me in public, I'm surrounded by bodyguards. Oh, they don't look like bodyguards to you. They just look like really handsome teenagers and young adults, but they're with me everywhere. They're at the park, they're at the grocery store, when we're allowed to go to the park and grocery store. They're with me everywhere. They actually flank me and pretend to be security guards. Hello, hello, flamingos on the move. They're really funny. But you bring your kids along with you, you live your life, and you create learning burritos everywhere that you can. So if you see signs or interesting things, you're talking about them, you're learning about them. The kids are practicing listening. They're touching and exploring and listening and tasting, resting, practicing having a good attitude, helping around the house. And a little bit a day, they're doing things that are exercising their fingers, maybe even holding a pencil or a crayon or a marker, but don't rush it. Oh my gosh, please don't rush it. Your kids do not need more than a little tiny bit of school in their day. They really don't. And you'll get there to where you're doing 2, 3, 5 hours of school a day or more, depending on what kind of an academic path you take with your kids. But enjoy this season and set your foundation solid so that when they're as tall as you and they give you any kind of an attitude, you can simply nicely say do over, and they'll already know what to do. They'll just, excuse me, Mom. This is so important. It's so important. So anyway, that's it. Preschool, kindergarten, so much fun. Don't rush them growing up. They're going to get there. Quadratic equations are somewhere in your future. And don't panic about it. Just enjoy the kids while they're little. And I think that's it. You go. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you soon. Bye.